Hey, Asgard, and it's time to talk about Witch Hat Atelier. And this episode was honestly great. While it didn't have the spectacle, the hype, the action that previous episode had, which was great, I actually think more series should do this, especially after you have episodes like the previous one. Bit of a slowdown, building up characters, things to come. A lot more series should learn from this, especially newer series. While I like action and thing, I think character development and plot progression are a lot more important, especially downtime, and those things amplify that action and those hype moments here. The emotional impact also gets improved quite a lot, so I really liked especially the first half of this episode, and also have a new character which seems quite interesting. And Coco is great, just her energy is fantastic. So let's get into the episode and talk about it now. We'll still have the dynamics between Agot and Coco. While they are slowly improving, Agot still doesn't really wants to give the time of day to Coco. Maybe not as bad as the beginning here. He still finds her distracting while they're both in the room learning, testing spells and studying. Coco really worked a lot also. She was very tired here, but well, Agot decides to leave and work on her own spell, something related to light, which is kind of fun. She's working on a light spell, and in this episode we also see Coco and a connection to the first spell she loved. We're gonna get into that, but here we see that Coco is still not really good at the drawing part. She still didn't get her own pen. I really hope they're gonna go back to that old guy's shop here and get her own pen. I'm curious how it's gonna work and how it's gonna integrate her pigment stone here. We're gonna have to see with that. But what I liked here, well, she was tired and she almost fell asleep. Kifrey joins here and surprises her, and we see how much pressure Coco is putting on herself, but also at the same time how she's able to bounce back and push herself forward. I can kind of half relate to something. I also put very much pressure on myself, and especially when I make mistake, I'm very critical on myself, but I don't have that way of pushing myself back very much, so it's not really that healthy to just be so critical of yourself. I wish I had half of the energy that that Coco has, and especially her love of magic here. But what I appreciated here in this episode quite a lot was Kifrey actually being like a teacher, a master, showing Coco the ropes a bit, and in a very interesting way. Took her to the kitchen and asked her to make a sandwich. I'm joking, no. Actually took her to the kitchen and showed her a very interesting concept to how she could learn magic in a better way, and slowly, and she starts presenting her that 2-year-old stewing with stored in magic, or in a magic container there to keep renew it at the moment it was created here, and tells Coco to actually do the work a bit herself, to cook something now that she knows the fireball spell, and giving her pointer, hey, we need this for the weight, for so on the bigger circle, and actually teaching her, but also allowing her to do it and keep making mistakes until she got it. This is how you teach somebody. Well, something for you might be super easy. For Kifrey, that spell there should have been easy, with closed eyes, hands behind his back, probably draw it with his mouth. But just because something is very easy for you and you're an expert and you just tell somebody, hey, do it like this, that's not a good way to teach somebody. You have to take it slow. You weren't an expert when you're born also, so a lot of teachers aren't really good at this, especially in anime, so it's nice to see a teacher that actually knows how to teach, to be blunt, directly there, and she slowly does it here. And thanks to this, we also find out a bit about Kifrey. He doesn't really like rain, here, saying the first spell he learned was also water magic, and kind of that's his responsibility here, and hated being wet there. And he has a spell that I really want a lot. We're gonna get into that here, but the important lesson he gave to Coco was, if you're so desperate to learn quickly, the best way to do it is integrate in your daily life, referring to magic. And this kind of had a light bulb moment for Coco, which is great, integrating magic into your daily life. And this is also very true with real life things. If you want to learn something, integrate it more in your daily life, of course, if it's possible. I'm not saying integrate nuclear physics in your daily life there. But then we have Teti and Rich join and they wanted to help here. But what I liked, I was like, okay, they're all gonna work together. Somebody's gonna do this and that. No, Kifrey actually put priority on Coco. No, this time I want Coco to be the one to do it. You guys already know here. And Coco started learning more with cooking. The moments between them were cute there. They decide to go out for a picnic. Of course, Agat refuses to join. I really hope this build up and pressure that we have with Agat is gonna be worth it with the reveal, the explanation for why she's the way she is, her dynamic and relationship with Coco and with everybody else. But I feel like she's kind of hiding this dark secret. Like we see Coco puts so much pressure on herself. I feel like Agot does the same thing to her and she expects everybody else to do the same thing as she does. So it's interesting here with Agot. I find her a very interesting character, but also very annoying, and I still want to slap her for what she did. They still haven't addressed what she did to Coco here, putting her in that test, but we're gonna have to see. I'm liking Agot, but also find her frustrating for now here. But after them going to the picnic, unfortunately starts raining, and I feel this. I hate rain so much. I actually lose energy, get demoralized when it's raining or snowing. If it's sunny outside, I actually feel more energetic, better in general here, and I want this spell that Kifrey has, making the sunny bubble around him, stopping the the rain there, which made it even funnier because the Gojo relationships with Limitless there and people thinking that, but Kifrey came first. I just want to say that there I saw it here. But then I really want that spell. Like I said, somebody just, if I could choose one spell I could have from the series so far, just give me a way to always have Sunny and I would be in a much better place mentally here. But then they actually go start their picnic. Hey, they're witches, they can do whatever they want here. They enjoy the food. The rain stops for a bit, looks beautiful. And I liked that Coco, her first instinct was to instantly go and wanted to share this with Agot, to share the beauty here. But when she returns, somebody else is there, this new character that we have. And thankfully Kifrey came after her. She hides behind Kifrey, and we get introduced to Olrugio. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. You guys know me, I'm not very good with names here. And you see that he is frustrated that Kifrey has a new apprentice, and he instantly wanted to turn Coco to the Knights Morales. But what I liked, Kifrey stopped him instantly, even willing to fight for it, started using spells and telling, hey, let's go inside and talk here. And the reveal that Olrugio is the Watchful Eye. I kind of like this concept here for two reasons, because I'm still curious how the magic works in the world here, because we know magic has been kept hidden from the general population to protect them. But like I said in previous videos and episodes, I'm not sure if that's the actual truth. Is that the truth, like, hey, it's too dangerous to allow people to use it, or somebody made just wanted to keep the power for themselves and didn't want to leave access to everybody for magic to be more in control. So having this Watchful Eye here is quite interesting, because they're like kind of like an observer for small Atelier, so they don't go out of control, they don't do shady things, they break the rules and things like that. There's somebody from above looking over them, compared to the Great Hall where everybody's probably watching everybody here. So I like this concept for two reasons. If it's the truth with the magic, yes, you should have some observers, because somebody in bumfuck Narnia nowhere could do forbidden magic experiments and nobody would know. But also makes it even more shady, because hey, what if we control them more, supervigate them more and things like that. So something to keep in mind here. But Olrugo still doesn't like that Kifrey has an apprentice, with after Kifrey explained everything here. And I like that Kifrey explains things to Coco, and by extension to us, talking a bit about the Knights Morales. They're kind of like the guardians or the police of the magic world in a way. But by the way he described them, it gave me more Inquisition feelings. And apparently he said if Coco would be turned into them, they would even erase Coco's love of magic. And this is something very important because it's one of the biggest things in Coco's life here, but also in relation to Olorugio, which we're gonna get to that. And what I liked is how adamant Kifrey was about this. If they would do this, they would also need to erase my memories. He actually takes full responsibility for putting Coco into this situation and everything that happened. So Kifrey, definitely my favorite character so far in the series. Of course, I love Coco. She's the main character. She's also one of my favorite characters. But Kifrey, I'm really liking his personality, and also he's hiding something. We still don't know a lot about him, but the more I find out about him, the more I like him a lot more there. But also we have Olorugio accepting a bit this situation for us, saying, if something happens, I'm gonna have to turn her in. It's my duty as the watchful eye. But I don't think that's going to happen. By the way, this episode ended. Then Kifrey kind of reassures Coco, telling her, "Hey, don't worry. You passed the magic test with your own power and ability. You have nothing to be ashamed of." And again, another reason for why I like Kifrey. They're reassuring her, comforting her, being there for her, great mentor like character to have here. But after this we have Coco looking for Brush Buddy so they can dry off the rain and everything, and Brush Buddy walks into Olorugio's room, which has a interesting sign: anybody that knocks gets cursed. And I like that, but also kind of indirectly implies just walk in without knocking, right? Depending how you take you look at that. Of course Coco goes in. There, you know, Olorugio finds Brush Buddy, actually dries him off here, and also dries off Coco there. And this is an amazing moment that we have here. Coco finds the bricks that she also walked when she was with her mother, the time she got the magic tools there at the fair or whatever that was, and kind of started her love of magic. She loved those bricks, the light and everything so much. Was the origin point of her love of magic here. And we find out that Olorugio apparently was the one that created them, and they're kind of like pressure point light magic. When you step on them, put pressure on them, they light up. And she shared this emotion, this special moment with Olorugio there, thanking him, and she basically won him over with how much she loves magic and how much she appreciated something he viewed as so simple, as nothing, as just like a toy in a way. Kind of touched his heart quite a lot, and I have a feeling she more than won him over here. And after she leaves, he kind of has second thoughts, thinking they will take even her love of magic. And the interesting part, while he said that also, he still leaves the door half open. Even though he said at the start, hey, it's my fault, I left the door open, he still does it. So kind of implying a bit maybe he still wants more interactions with Coco and things like that there. So I really like this episode, and Olorugio seems to be like an interesting character by how his relationship with Kifrey, his role as this watchful eye makes you question the world and everything. And I'm really liking Coco and his interactions there. But after this, we still have, I feel like Agot is probably going to be a central point moving forward in the next arc there. Agot refusing to join Coco to study. She chooses to stay alone. And I like how Coco is like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to call you when it's lunchtime. Do your thing. Of course, Agot getting annoyed at the wind noises, breaking her concentration, but she still forces herself to push through, kind of using it for her training, saying, it's gonna be fine, I'm gonna have to learn to deal with this anyway. Still trying to figure out the light magic that she was working on, and hey, maybe it's gonna be a connection with Coco and her love of magic there. But what drew my attention even more was saying she's getting ready for the next test and also wanting to work on the outside world. So like as there's probably ranks or something like that into the world so far, or restrictions being lifted the higher you go, or things like that there. But before she could do anything more, somebody knocking at their door asking for help. The storm, um, a trapped carriage there. Apparently, his son is trapped inside or was there. Don't fully know what happened, but very in a rush, emergency here. But I don't know what to feel about this. Is it an actual emergency, an incident? But I don't know why it just gave me the feeling more of a trap or something, drawing them out, or things like that. I know maybe I'm overthinking this too much, but felt a bit sudden, or I don't know where to place it, but we're gonna have to wait and see. And this is where Agot also wants to go with Kifrey to kind of prove herself here, being able to work on the outside. So yeah, I'm curious where they're gonna go with Agot here. I'm curious with this carriage, if it's an actual emergency or a trap there. I loved Kifrey in this episode, how much he felt like a mentor there, and Olruga seems like a very interesting character, and of course Coco is a bundle of energy. So yeah, great episode here, building up things for the future, and great character development. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this episode. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Witch Hat Atelier. I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Bye bye.